Okay, welcome. My name's Anthony Kirkwood and I'll be doing a tutorial on how to draw an eye. First, you've got to go up to File, New, and you want to open up a horizontal A4 page. So we're going to make that 297 and we're going to make that 210. We're going to make it RGB because we're not going to be printing it. Unless you're printing it, you must make it CMYK. And we're going to call it Eye Tutorial. Okay, first of all, you've got to get you can choose any color you want. I enjoy using black. We want to get our outline layer first. Call that outline layer. And we are going to get our brush. We want to make sure it's on the brush tool. And with that, we're going to choose a nice brush. And you got to click on your outline layer. With starting with this is you've got to do freehand, or you can do however you want. I enjoy just outlining what I want to be drawing. And you just got to be very gentle with the brush, and it's how you handle it. With doing the outline, you don't have to really be neat. It's just getting an idea of where the positioning of your lines is going to be for coloring them in on Photoshop, and maybe getting a few shadows and the more detail you get in your outlining stage, the better, because you won't be held up with trying to think of where this detail needs to go or so forth. So it's good to plan out your strategy of how you're going to be painting beforehand. Got a nice shadow there. And I've got the sun coming from here, this angle. The way I'm teaching you today is how I've understood how to do it with my art experience and design experience, and this is my own way in which I do things. So you might be able to find that you'll do your way of painting in a different way, but it's just to give you an idea of how it's done. And once you get better and better at what you're doing, you'll definitely find your niche and how you do it. Okay. So once you've got your outlining done, you want to go back to layers here, and you want to type in color. So we'll write eyeball as the name of this, because we want to focus on the eyeball first and then do the outline, the out shading of it later. Okay, so we're going to choose a color. I normally go from darker to lighter when I'm working on when I'm painting. So I'm going to go for a grey, and I'm going to get my brush and I'm going to slowly go around the eyeball. iris of the eyeball. And you can take your time with doing this, because the more time you take in doing this, the better your eyeball is going to become, your painting, because you're going to have a lot more focus and attention on what your detail is going to be like. Also, you must play with your opacity, trying to get different shades and different colors in, as that will help you with bringing out your picture, and you need to use that to your advantage. And with lowering the opacity, you also use it. You have the advantage of using it as like a blending tool. And I'll get onto the blending tool just now. I just want to finish the coloring in. And if you ever feel that you've done something wrong, never be scared to use the step backwards key, because that helps a lot as well. Okay, now we want to go into the actual eyeball, which is the iris. And I'm going to be using the beautiful color brown. And I'm going to get the darkest color in the brown first to give it the background layer. And I'm not going to use any, I'm going to take my opacity off. And I'm going to get a good outline of the eye. Like that. And I want to come around quickly, like, okay. And if you feel that you're not happy with something, you need to get your eraser tool, and you can erase around the corners to get that smooth feel and the fine feel of your design. Okay, with that being done, I'm now going to get a darker brown, which is going to be my shadow. I'm going to drop my opacity, and I'm going to get the tool, change my brush tool to, oh, so hold on, still on eraser, get it to my brush tool, and I'm going to lightly go along the outside of where the shadows are going to be. And you've just got to really get the feeling of what you're actually painting, because that helps a lot with what you're doing. And don't be scared. If you want to go over the edge like that, you just get your eraser tool and you erase it. So it's easy as that. So don't think you're always going to make a mistake, because you can always correct it. Okay, now I'm going to get black, and I'm going to do the round circle. Okay, and I'm going to put my opacity back up so I get a clear black. Okay, and I feel happy with that. Now I'm going to get a lighter brown orange, where I'm going to add to this dark brown to get more detail to come out of the inside of the iris of the eye. And I'm going to drop the opacity, as I don't want too much orange, and I also want to cross layer my strokes so I get a great effect of the detail in the eye. And you want to get the light coming through the eyelashes, the shade of the eyelashes. You want to get the light coming through there. You don't want the light to come through too much, but you want to give it like an outlining understanding of that it's there. But you don't want to make it so it sticks out. And I'm still using the same brown, yellow, orange that I used for the starting of the light. I've dropped the opacity, so every time I put a brush stroke on top of that yellow brown that I've put down, it's going to get darker, or lighter in that sense. So I want to get another yellow now, yellow brown. I want to get more of a caramel color. So it's coming together very slowly, but like I said, the more time you spend on your design, your painting that you're doing, the better it will be at the end. It will be a better result. Okay, so I'm going to get a lighter yellow. I actually want to get like a yellow cream There we go. See how we're slowly getting the eye detail of the iris coming through. It's looking quite good now. Or should I say it's coming together? And once we've finished with this light color, we'll go back with a dark brown black to fix up the highlights and just add a lot more detail, and so it gives you a great in-depth ideal scale of the eyeball. Okay, so I feel I'm happy with that at the moment. I'm going to get a darker color now, like I said, like a dark brown black. And now drop the opacity again, or it's still where I want it to be. I'm going to put it on about 20%. That's good. And then I'm going to keep it on the same brush that I had, and I'm going to slowly just give it a great depth of field with this black brown. I'm going to actually make it a lot more blacker, because that's what I feel will be right for my painting. I'm going to put the opacity up to about 35, that's right. And then I'm going to come in here. I want a bit of orange now in the actual eye, so that's what I'm going to do. I feel my eyes too cold. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the black, brown. Okay, so I've got that now. Okay, so I've got the eye how I feel I like it. I'm going to now do the shading on top of the eye. So I'm going to use white and I'm going to slowly get the reflection from the sun on the eyes. And I'm going to make a new layer and name it iris reflection. Change my brush and then I'm just going to get the outline of it. And I'm going to color it in. And I'm getting the blending tool at the moment and just blending it in so it looks a little bit better and it doesn't just look like I've used a brush. Now I'm going to drop the, let's see, I'm going to make it multiply. No, I don't want to make it multiply. I'm going to drop the opacity. I'm going to zoom out and I'm just going to check how, and I like it about there, so I'm going to keep it there with the opacity. Now I'm going to get the white again and I'm going to change it to the brush tool, and with that I'm going to create a new layer and I'm going to iris reflection 2. And I'm gonna get the white and I'm gonna do the sun reflection now, which I'll show you. You do a small, or you put it onto about 80%. Okay, I've got on 79, and you do a round circle like that, and then you drop the opacity to about 45. And we want to make a small little star going through there. like that, and then I'm going to do another little circle here, but I'm not going to put the star through it. So I'm going to drop my opacity again, and I'm just going to get the reflections through the reflection of the iris. Okay, and I feel happy with that now. So now we're going to go back to the eyeball, and I'm going to blend the actual paint that we painted on earlier in, so it makes it look a lot better and brings out the eyeball, so it makes it look a lot more realistic. And I'm going to go back to the eye, and I'm just going to erase around the eye. So we've got a better looking eye. I'm going to go back to the eyeball, and I'm going to go to brush. And after this, we're going to delete the outline layer, so you won't be able to see the actual outline, and that's a nice thing to do. With this, I'm going to go up to the top now, and we're going to do the actual side of the eyeball, and that's what I'm going to type in here as the layer, because I've made a new layer. And we're going to choose our flesh skin color that we need to use here, and I'm going to be using like a red orange. I'm going to use a dark red in the beginning. And you want to change it back to your brush, because we're on the blending tool, or they call it the mixing brush on Photoshop. And I'm going to put my opacity back to full, change my brush, and I'm happy with this at the moment. And you want to get all the parts that you feel are necessary, that will bring out the actual feeling of that flesh, or the texture of the flesh, or whatever the case it may be. You want to bring out that feeling of that, so it makes it look more real, and that's what I'm trying to do here, as you can see. I want to get the red again, and I want to blend over it now to get that feeling that I've wanted. And I always zoom out a little bit just to feel what I'm doing and just to get a perspective of what I'm doing, as it just sets my visual idea of what I'm trying to put together. And I'm going to get even a darker red now. It's bordering on the black. Like I said before, you can always use the colors and blend them into each other when you've got a low opacity, even if you've got a high opacity, but it's always good to have a low opacity to blend, as you're not feeding so much color onto the other color that you're blending, so it gives you a lighter color. So depending on your threshold with your opacity, it gives you a great, outstanding feel of what you're doing. I'm just going to get my eraser tool and I'm just going to erase around the side, because I'm going to show you. I'm going to add a little bit more. I'm going to erase this part here, and then I'm going to add a very transparent red over here, because I want to get the veins and that texture coming through. So I've got it like that. Now I'm going to get the brush tool again, and I'm going to pick the color that I want, and I want a really like dark but light color. I'm going to put it to about 50%, and then I'm going to lightly just braze over the eyeball where I think the red, where I want the red to be. So I feel that's right. I'm going to get a lighter red now just to pick up the actual, actually I'm going to use a white, and I'm going to drop the opacity. I want to give it that wet feel, so I'm going to drop the opacity to about 29, and I'm just going to keep it on the brush I've got, and I'm just going to lightly go over where I want the white to be. Over here I want to drop the opacity even lower. I want to give it put it about 8. Like that. And then I want to come around the edges and just to Okay, there we go. Now we're gonna move on to the actual skin around the eye, and this is a fun part as well because you can add texture to make it look like the skin, and it does take a lot of time. But like I said in the beginning, you've got to put the time in to get what you want. Never forgetting that the sun is over here. Okay, so I'm going to create a new layer on top of all these other layers, and I'm going to name it skin. And depending on what skin color you're doing, that's the skin color you need to use and the tones that you need to use. I'm going to go for orange cream, about there, about there. And this is going to be my light color, so I'm just going to get the idea of what colors I need in certain places, and I'm going to start off with the light in this case, and I'm just going to depict where that would be, so I can use that as the reference to fixing the skin around the eye and making it look really good. And just remember, if you ever go over the eyeball like that, you can push the backwards key, or otherwise you can just erase it. It's really easy. Okay, and I'm gonna make my brush a lot bigger, and I'm gonna get it in there. Okay, and now I'm gonna get a darker brown. You just want to get the lighter and darker brown in place before you start going into detail with what you're doing, because I just find that's a way of helping me just place everything and get the perspective that I need, and the lighting aspect of my colors in place as well. I'm going to drop my opacity again. I'm putting my opacity back up. With your mixing brush, so you can add your wetness, your load of paint that's on the brush, your mix, and your flow. And you've just got to get it how you like it, and you know, it gives you that feeling of what you're wanting to do with it, which is actually mix the colors. And as you see, if I start pulling the picture away, you start seeing it coming together quite slowly, but it will eventually get there. We just got to work on it more. And as you can see, I'm going to come over with the light color where I need to, over the actual dark, as it starts giving it a great contrast. Only where I need to though, and where I feel the light hits. So as we carry on here, I'm just erasing the darker blotches of texture that I've added. I'm also going to add some white blotches. I'm going to take it back to the brush I had, or one similar. I like that. And then like I did earlier, I'm just going to change the direction of the brush, just so we're just changing things up a bit. Spacing 1000%, and I want to come in with this white that I wanted, and I'm going to pick the opacity up because I want the opacity up, and okay. Okay, and then I choose the brush again, and then I go and I just lightly put it where I want it. And slowly the white starts coming out. I'm going to change my brush again to a different angle because I just don't want to. I want to keep the consistency different. I just want it to be different, and then I slowly change my brush as I go along with it, and then just like that. And then I get the eraser tool again, and I just turn the opacity down because we want to turn the opacity down quite well on that. And I want to change it back to my normal brush that I use, and just do this slightly. And just cleaning it up, and how I feel, I know when it will look good, so I'm just doing it for my liking. And you change the brush size whenever you need to. You've got to work with how you feel. You've got to learn the key controls on this on Photoshop, because that helps you out a lot more with understanding the key shortcuts. And as you can see, that's what I'm doing with the brush now. I'm making my brush bigger and smaller as I go with it. So and white can be very overpowering. It's the first color that the eye sees, so you don't want to overpower it with white on the skin, because that will be quite overpowering, and we don't want to overpower the eye. So it's coming out quite slowly, but it's coming together. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the eye reflection and I'm just going to do something quickly because I want to bring out this part of the eye. Okay, the lasso tool is really nice to work with, and should have worked with it earlier, but I didn't feel the need to. And I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna because I want to do a highlight on this part of the eye now, and I don't like that, so I'm gonna start again, and I just want to get this outline really good. And then I'm gonna go like that, and then I'm gonna bring it up here, because you must remember this is where the light's coming from. And I just gotta get it right, so this is what I'm gonna do. And then I'm gonna come up here. I want to put a little dent there, and then I'm going to go all the way up to the top, and I'm going to come down, and you see it joins up now. This is what I want. Okay, so now I'm going to get my brush tool again. I'm going to change it to there, and I'm going to put the opacity to about there, and now I'm going to go over it. Okay, and I'm going to put the opacity up a little bit. And change it to very, very white. And put the opacity all the way to the top. Okay, and I'm going to push D, and as you can see, we've got the reflection there now. And I'm going to get the lasso tool one more time, and I'm going to do my last reflection on the eye here. I'm going to go around like that, and then I'm going to come down, and I want to get really close to here to the edge, and then I'm going to go like that, and then I want to start disappearing to the top, going all the way to the top again, and I'm going to come around like that, and I'm going to get the brush tool again with the white, as I enjoy the white with doing my reflection. I like the solid white, and I'm going to change my tool brush again, and I'm going to go over it. I'm going to go mostly where the darker parts are, because that's where I want the reflections come through, and it will come through greatly in those areas. Okay, and I'm going to push D. You want to push D when you want to get out of it. So, and then I'm going to get a razor, and I'm going to drop my opacity, which is already on 27. I like that, and I'm just going to go around the edges just so it doesn't look so. I want to make it look real. But I also want to keep certain points in place, so you know, yeah. Okay, and now I'm going to go to Iris Reflection 2, and I'm going to add the very white parts that I just want to add just to bring it out a bit. And drop opacity down. Okay, I feel happy with that now. I'm gonna go back to the eye. I'm just putting in detail that I just feel I want to put in. Okay. And now I'm going to get black, and I want to start putting the eyelashes in. So I'm going to put that, it's going to be the top layer again. And you want to get a brush that's really nice and it flares a little bit. What I mean by flares is you down and then you can just make it, there we go. And I'm going to pick that up and I'm going to just delete that quickly. Put the opacity up. And you've got to get the eyelashes in the right way, because eyelashes are extremely hard, but once you get them right, they make the eye look so much better and clearer. And I'm using the brush again. I'm making it bigger and smaller as I go. Because you want to get, you don't want to get everything, you want to get everything different. You don't want to make it all the eyelashes to look the same. And the bottom eyelashes I want to make a lot more thinner. I'm just going to finish off these ones here at the top. And I'll make the brush a lot thinner here. See, so the eye's starting to come together. We're getting all the proportions in place, and there we go. And over here in the dark area where the shade is, as you can see, because that's where the sun's coming from, I'm going to do lighter strokes because that's how I feel I want it. So I don't want them too light, but I just want them to be picked up a little bit and not be hidden. And if you look at the eyelashes at the bottom aren't as long and bold as the ones at the bottom. I mean at the top. Okay, here we go. We're getting there. So let's. I'm gonna put it back to black again because I think that's a really good color, and I'm just gonna start filling little bits here that I want filled in. Okay. And that's looking good. So now I'm gonna get a little bit of a lighter color. I'm gonna zoom in, and I'll get a what color should I get? I'll get a like a light brown, and I just want to put the and I just want to lightly go over certain spots of the eyelashes, just to give it that feeling of being real and not just a stroke anymore. And I'll just choose any eyelash that I feel needs it, so you won't see it when it's zoomed out in particular, but I feel that just adding that little bit more detail makes it more greater, if you know what I mean. So and then you'll see once I've done this, I'll get a white, and I'll just lightly go over certain spots just to bring them out a little bit. And you see, you don't want to go over the dark, the too thin lines, because then you're going to start covering them up. And here, I don't like that, so I'm just going to lightly blend it in. And now I'm going to get the white. See how the white will start picking this all up now and making it stand out. I'll move it to this here, and then I'm going to go down to skin again. Drop my opacity because I want to start bringing the background out a little bit. There we go. And I'll make it a little bit darker in the front. Get my eraser tools. Go to eyelashes. Make it 100%. Just want to see if this will work. There we go. I want to go back down to skin, eraser tool. I want to make it solid, so yeah, it is. No, I want to put it on the eraser tool. That's on the magic background eraser tool. Don't want to do that. And I'm just going to go around areas that are getting distracted in a way from the flesh that I've painted, or the skin. not the flesh, the skin. And I'm going to put it back onto this brush here, and I'm just going to, there we go. Don't want the edges to be so hard, so I'm just going to lightly go around the edges just to make them feel softer and not be so in your face. There we go. So the eyes come together very well. There's just a few more things I want to touch up before I finish off now. And I'm going to go down, I just want to see what... So I'm going to keep my outlines on. I'm going to raise a few bits of it. Make that white, this layer. Get my brush and okay, so now I'm going to take out my outline, and yes, and there we go, you've got your eye. And I'm just going to finish off a little bit. I'm going to get black, I'm going to drop the opacity again, and I'm going to make my brush smaller. I'm going to go up to skin. So what I'm doing now is I'm just cleaning up what I want to clean up with doing this, and just so it brings out the picture, because that's what you want. You don't want it to just look like a normal picture. You want it to look real. And get the reflection of the eyelashes coming down onto the eye itself. So we're coming to the end now of drawing this eye, and I think it's looking really good. I'm just adding in the last few details before I clear it up and say it's done. Okay, and that's a complete eye, and well done if you've followed this and completed it. It's the end of the tutorial, and this is how to draw an eye, a realistic eye in Photoshop CS6.